And this dude had the nerve to reach over past me, pull up my blind. I was like, what in the world?
Wow.
Where did this dude come from? He wasn't from America. He was like from some other European country.
I confused my love for travel for me revitalizing the relationship.
Wow.
Welcome to the I Can't Wait to Travel podcast. And I'm Lisa, your host.
And I'm Anthony.
And we are here to tell you everything about travel, relationships, and in between. Today, we are talking about the ultimate test, traveling with a partner or a friend.
Ooh.
Dun, 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 dun.
That can be really good or really bad.
Absolutely. So throughout the years, I think that we have learned that traveling with each other has worked out pretty well.
Yeah, it has.
So we've done short trips, long trips, and
medium trips.
and in between. And we tend to get along for most of the trips.
Yeah, for most of them.
But that's not the case for everyone. Like our longest trip that we've ever done was probably like that 16-day trip.
Yep, that's right.
And we went to Europe together.
Yeah.
And someone that I knew said, you guys stayed on a ship for 14 days or 12 days together and then stayed together for 16 days. How did you not kill each other?
Did they forget we just went through a global pandemic and we were in the same house together for 2 years?
That's
what
so
is 16
true.
days?
But a lot of people, even though they're in a relationship or they're married, they live separate lives.
Dang.
They do. For us, if I'm going to go to the gym, I'm like, hey, do you want to come? If I'm going to go out to eat, do you want to come? We are intertwined more so than a lot of couples.
Yeah, that's interesting.
So who have you traveled with other than me? So I can get into the nitty gritty of what you've been doing in the past.
Not a lot of nitty gritty. Well, obviously, I don't know if you want to consider traveling when you're going back and forth to school. When you're going to college in Tallahassee, we're driving 7.5 hours up the road. So, you travel with friends.
Oh, I thought you were talking about a girl. I was going to say you had a girl before me.
Of course. Who hasn't? But, traveling up to school. But I did I did a lot of traveling more so afterwards in my career. And probably one of the most interesting ones was traveling with one of my supervisors at my old job, one of my old jobs.
What happened?
Well, let's say he was very, wanted to be very economical. And so when it came time for booking the room, and I was fresh for traveling, wet behind the ears. I was new in terms of on the job. And he's like, oh, we're going to share a room. I was like, share a room?
So you had to share a room with your supervisor.
Yeah, that was a little bit odd. And I didn't really push back. I was like, really? I was like, yeah, we can save money. I mean, we save money? It's more like you save money. Then I remember, obviously there's 2 beds in there. And then I'm doing some work or whatever. And then I guess he went in the shower or something. I remember. And I remember he came out in his tighty whities. I'm like, bruh.
Oh my gosh.
Really, bruh?
Wow.
And,
so just think about weird. That. You've been on, when you're at work in front of your boss, you're on all day.
Yeah.
Then it's you can finally go back to your room and you can breathe and just relax.
And have on your tighty whities.
But you can't.
No.
Because your boss is there. Even if you wanted to do some extra work, he's like, oh, good job.
What are you doing? What are you doing
extra
now?
work. If you wanted to call someone,
I had to go in the hallway. That's what I went into the hallway to go. I'm now I'm spending most of my time outside of the room than being able to relax in the room.
That is crazy.
Needless to say, that was the last time that ever happened.
It was a one and done, or you did it?
There was one and done. But actually, no, there was one other time. at a job where we went out to some retreat, and they wanted people to bunk together to get to better know each other as well too. And I was like opposed to that, but it was a retreat. It was up in Maryland somewhere out in the boondocks on a ski resort. It was like the people coming together. We went on the water and all that stuff. But the difference was that was one of my coworkers who were friends. So, you just muscle through it, but that one wasn't weird because, we both were like, we don't really want to do this, but they're making us. So we were both conscious.
So this is an unpopular opinion amongst the ladies. I am not one to share a room. No. And whenever they do girls trips, let's do a girls trip. We can all share a room and stay up at night and talk about, whatever. I just want my own room.
Yeah.
Like with you, like I'm still used to you. So of course we share a room. But like when I go on trips, I just want like, I'm an introvert at heart. So I just want like to recharge. It's almost like I'm a phone, like plug me back in so I can recharge for tomorrow. And I just can't do the share a room. Do you know, I'm 42 years old and I've only done 3 girls trips in my life.
Yeah.
And 2 of them were only with one other person. So it's not really a girls trip.
But did you ever share the room then?
I shared the room on all 3 occasions because it's frowned upon not to share the room. It's like if you're like, we're going to all get, hang out in the room and you say you want your own. It's like, well, what's wrong with her?
Like,
she's too good for us.
Shame.
Yeah.
Shame.
So whenever it's one-on-one, so like I've shared a room with Renee, which is like my friend for 42 years. So that was easy.
She was your friend as soon as you came out the room?
As soon as I came out the room, I was like,
Renee. Yep. Where's Renee?
Yep. Literally, she was.
Well, she probably was there because she's a little older. But
right, exactly. She was.
I guess you can't say that.
And then the other one was actually the pastor's wife, Tamika.
Yeah?
We went away on a trip and we had fun.
I don't even remember that.
Yeah, we went away for her birthday.
Oh, wow.
And that worked out well. And then my third one was I did it with my cousins. And that one, I love my cousins.
The Atlanta.
We are great. They are great. But that was hard for me because it's now 2 people. So I woke up, like we're in Atlanta. We want to go out and have fun. And I woke up at like 8 a.m. Everybody's sleeping. I'm like, we got to just stay here and continue to wait for them to get up to go do stuff.
I want to play. I want to play with everyone and everyone's sleeping.
But like, I want to get out and do stuff. So then I'm like, all right, let me try to force myself back to sleep. 9 a.m. Yeah. Wait, it was like a baby. I wanted to like hit them and like, oh, my bad. Like they were still sleeping. So
4 hours later, 12
I was like,
p.m.
Okay, I put on my clothes. I went out and I just explored the town on my own. I came back at like some minutes to 12 thinking like, all right, they're going to be ready to go to lunch. Dark room. They were still sleeping.
But what time did they go to sleep?
Like we went to bed like at 1. It wasn't like we went to bed at like 4.
They had to get their recharge. They were plugged in.
So they laugh at me to this day because they're like, you always have to be on the go. You're the early riser. So you have to travel with people who have the same travel style as you. Like if you are an early riser, you don't want the late risers to be your travel partners. If you like to like, let's go, 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 go. And your travel partners are like, I want to hang out by the pool all day.
Yeah.
You got to pick the right people.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So you've traveled with your colleagues for work.
Yep.
And then you were traveling back and forth to college with your girlfriend at the time.
Girlfriend and friends. You know, everybody had different time frames they were going back and forth. And even traveled with some church folk for different conferences and whatnot as well, too. You
shared a room?
Yeah. I mean, we were all like in college or whatnot. You barely had any money.
Yeah.
Definitely weren't going to be like, I'm sorry, guys, I'm going to have my own. And plus, we would come together, we'd be playing dominoes or cards. So it was like, you're just hanging out.
So you're sharing a room with like how many people?
It was probably just maybe 3 people or whatnot.
Oh, so it's
Or
4 of you in a room.
Maybe 4, 3 or 4. I can't remember
Yeah.
Fully in detail, but it was always like fun.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't.
Even in high school, you weren't, or college, you were like, nah, I'm good.
Well, we didn't really have money to go on trips in college.
Yeah.
The only place I went to away in college was because I went to school in Tallahassee,
Mm-hmm.
Panama City Beach, Panama City Beach was 2 hours away. So I did a road trip out there.
Road trip.
And this is how you know that I should have ended up in the travel industry, even though I couldn't see it back then. So I was in a bad relationship. And I laugh because it's like a nervous laugh about that. I was in a bad relationship. I did not need to be with this person. And we had got broken up and gotten back together and broken up.
One of those.
Yeah. And he was like, like we should really try to make this work. Let's go to Panama City Beach.
All expenses paid.
No, it was college. It was, we were 50-50 in it.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, let's go. But because I like travel so much, I confused my love for travel for me revitalizing the relationship. Wow. So we're out at Panama City Beach. The sand is crystal white. We're on jets, not jet skis. What do they call the
wave runners?
The ones that are on the road. They're not motorcycles. They're mopeds.
Mopeds?
We're on mopeds through the city, hair blowing in the wind, eating fresh seafood. Yeah. I'm like, I think I like this guy again. But really, it's like, no, girl, you like Panama City Beach. You don't like this guy. And you know how bad it was because when we drove back home, it was because we had so much, we didn't have enough money to stay the night.
This was a 1-day trip?
No, because we had only a little bit of money. So we're like, all right, let's go try and check the hotels. So online wasn't even a thing.
Y'all just went on this random trip to wait. Did y'all just wake up in the morning like y'all came up with, we're gonna go to Panama Beach? Oh, let's go now.
No. It was like the day before. We're like, let's
and
go
y'all
tomorrow.
didn't call to book any hotels and
because we didn't know how the day was gonna. Listen, we're in college, right? We've already rented mopeds. We've eaten seafood. That's like
expensive.
Living large in college.
That was expensive back then for a college student.
Right. So now I don't even remember how much money we had left. So we're like, okay, like say I had 40 and he had 40. Like, where are we going to stay tonight? So the places, I don't remember the amount, but the places we could go to, I remember they would take us to show us the room. And I was like, oh no, we can't stay here.
It's a motel hostel.
The sun is setting. We're like, we just got to go back because we have this 2-hour drive back to Tallahassee.
Well, that's not bad. Too bad.
Yeah. Here is where you know that I fell in love with travel in Panama City Beach because I'm on a high. Like, maybe this is going to work. We didn't even get back home when I realized that this isn't going to work.
Dang.
Because I'm driving, because I had the car. I'm driving back to
I thought you said it was 50-50. Did you put gas in your car?
I don't remember. But so we're driving back. It's my car and it's dark. We've been up since the crack of dawn, driving to Panama City Beach. We spent the whole day. You know how it is when you've been in the beach in the sun, how tired you are.
You're tired. You burnt, crispy.
So we're driving back and it's dark. And in northern Florida, I don't know what the deal is. Like that Georgia, Florida area, they just don't like to have street lights on. So you can only see like right in front of where your lights are.
And then the lights weren't like how they are now.
Like
the lights on the cars where you can see a bit further.
So we're driving and this dude, he's sleeping.
Dang.
So I already know, like, okay, this is not like he knows you're tired and he's just going to sleep. Not even try to stay awake.
Look out for the other person.
So then we get back to Tallahassee. We made it safely.
But he probably prayed, Lord, keep us. I'm going to sleep. Take the wheel. I guess he was got good sleep though. He woke up charged after that trip.
Yeah, I'm sure. We get back to Tallahassee, and this is when you know, ladies, you know that when you're ashamed to show the guy, you know that's the toxic relationship.
Oh Lord.
So we get back, and he's like, "Oh, can I come in and get?" I guess he had to take a shower from the day. I was like, "Don't let my roommate see you,"
No.
because that's how you're so ashamed. So the moral of that story basically is that travel can even make a relationship better than it is, because you're just getting to spend all this time. It's like the love languages. Like if your love language is quality time, you're like, I'm getting to spend this time. If it's words of affirmation, oh, you look cute in that bathing suit. If it's gifts, like, oh, I got us this gift. So travel feeds all those love languages to allow you to just be in this honeymoon phase of like, this place is amazing. You're amazing.
That's true. And then if none of those love languages are being fulfilled during these travels, then that's also further negative experience.
Well, for sure. It's like Valentine's Day. So many relationships fail because of the expectation of, I thought you were going to create this special thing. So when you're traveling, it's like if you have the expectation of, oh my gosh, he's taking me to the Poconos.
Dang.
And then you get there and you're in like a slum.
Yeah.
It's not fulfilling that expectation.
That's true. It's a good point.
So I feel like for us, it's been travel has really strengthened our marriage to where even though we don't have kids and we don't have some of the stresses that other couples have, it still allows us to get away from the everyday.
Yeah.
And to just focus on each other.
Especially when you're used to, especially here in America, it's like go, go, go. The hustle and bustle. You're ripping, you're running. The next thing, you feel like you don't have enough time for anything. And that's why I think it's also important to have like trips already planned out. You're looking forward to going away, because even times with work, like you may be in the same house, but you're both like working hard. You're not even spending as much time as you think you are. You may be, let's eat this meal, and it's like a hour or something or whatnot, watching something like, I know I fall asleep at night all the time. I'm like, let's watch this thing, and like 10 minutes in, I'm like not even spending as much quality time together, even though you're working from home or whatever. So that's why those trips allow you to decompress, get away from the everyday hustle and bustle, and just grow that relationship even much stronger.
Yeah. I don't agree with this statement, but I saw this guy on social media this week. He was saying the number one rule to make your marriage work is to travel. Forget therapy, just travel.
Oh my gosh.
So he was basically saying, like, you want to spend your money on therapy? No, spend it on travel. And I get what his sentiment is. It's just that like the allure and fantasy of just the planning and we're gonna be in France in June.
Yeah.
It just gives you the early buzz again.
Yeah. Oui,
for sure. But I love that. I definitely love that we've made travel a great part of our relationship. Alrighty. So there are some relationship hurdles that do come with traveling.
Oh, yeah.
So, many people, they go away, and whether it's that close quarters or just being with the person so much and standards, like we said, they start to have arguments and not get along. Can you think of any arguments, like big arguments we've had while traveling?
We've had a lot.
Have we?
No, I'm joking.
Honestly, for me, I tend to like let things go more on vacation than in real life.
Yeah?
Like you may say something to annoy me, but I'm like, okay, I can either make this a thing and then we ruin the day, or we can go hit the beach and we can make this work.
I would say, but probably more so within the last 10 years.
Yeah, because my maturity, darling, my maturity.
Like the other things, that any little thing was frustrating you back in the day. But I think because of just everything that's going on, it's like, it's not worth it.
Yeah. And I think that because when and this could be different for other people, but like when you're dating,
Mm-hmm.
an argument could be like, okay, this is over.
Yeah.
Like this trip is over and the relationship is over.
Yeah.
When you're
Done.
married, it's kind of like, all right, I'm still gonna be with you tomorrow, so let's figure this out.
Get over it quickly.
Yeah.
There's like I've heard of people go on vacations, they've argued and then they're not talking to each other for a day or two. It's like, really?
Like you're
That
spending
is
money
crazy.
to be there.
And you're like angry at each other. This is where you're supposed to be having fun and relaxing. And then you're like, you want something to eat? No, I'm good. I already ate.
I can't even remember a fight on one of our vacations. Like
I wouldn't even call it a fight though. More so maybe disagreement or misalignment or misunderstandings. But I don't think anything has been to a point where it caused some big blow up.
Yeah, I don't think we had any blow ups. It'll be like, if I'm thinking of the most recent thing, like a couple weeks ago, we were in Napa, and then you would like say something to me, and I'm like, I don't like your tone, something like that.
I don't even remember what that was.
And then you'll be like, oh, I'm sorry, and I'm like, I don't like your way you apologize, you know?
Oh my gosh.
But like, I can't. Other than stuff like that. Oh,
now I remember. I didn't even use a negative tone. Now I remember because I consciously said, well, she's going to say, oh, your tone. So I purposely said, dear Lisa, honey bumpkin.
You've never called me honey bumpkin in my life.
And then I still don't like your tone. Like I purposely, constantly called you honey bumpkin, dear precious.
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess that's a blessing that we haven't had any huge blowouts on vacation.
That's true. A lot of people get into a lot of blowouts.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about the bathroom.
But we've seen other blowouts on vacation.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if you remember this. We were at an all-inclusive resort in Mexico. And this lady, she couldn't find her husband like from the night before.
Uh-oh.
Remember? And we were checking out. And then finally he like does the walk with Shane in the morning.
Uh-oh.
And she's like, where were you? We were looking for you all night. And like he was sleeping in like another woman's room in the hotel. And she like ripped him a new one in the lobby. So we know travel mishaps happen all the time.
That's a huge mishap. that is like
a little travel boo-boo.
Yeah, that one.
He could have went to the wrong room.
That means he was litty. That dude was lit.
Yeah.
But how would he get into the wrong room?
I mean, I don't know. I'm making that up for him. I'm just trying to give him the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. So there's actually research from psychologists that state that travel can bring couples closer together. And the reason being, I have some reasons here. Mm-hmm. And it just talks about relief from routine stressors, a change in environment can allow couples to go through the honeymoon phase on a vacation.
So like reliving the honeymoon phase over and over again.
Yes. But then research also shows that there's some negative things that can happen from traveling together.
What are those?
Aren't you interested? Because travel can be stressful.
Yeah.
So the stress of travel, unexpected things that happen, and decision making can definitely cause conflict. So I really feel like people just need to, it's almost like when you were in elementary school, right? Mm-hmm. And every week your teacher gave out drops. And you're like, I want to be the line leader.
Yeah.
I want to be the door holder.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like when you're traveling, you have to know your lane and know your job. Like, we know you hold the passports.
Passports, check.
Yeah.
Top pocket.
I did the itinerary.
Yeah, check.
You know, you call the Uber if we're going.
No, when I'm calling.
Yeah, but you know, like I went way back to my mom to say, call the Uber.
Yeah, she doesn't say Uber. She said Uber.
Lisa, call the Uber.
Uber. Like, can't call one.
You gotta go on your app.
Yeah. Uber.
But so everyone has to have a job, and I feel like that releases the stress. Like,
that's true.
If I'm doing your role, it's just too much.
That's a good point. And I booked the flights. I want to be in
Yes,
charge
you
of
do
the
the flights, I do the hotel.
'Cause I don't want middle seat. Well,
You
I
sit in the middle
typically do
seat
have the
every
middle
time.
seat
You-
because
he
you want
gives
the
me-
window.
He gives me the window.
But then I'm more leaning toward you
Yeah,
because I don't really want to be leaning on the other person's side.
but it
You know,
works.
you know what was weird one time? Random. I was on a flight back from work, and there's a guy. I was on the window, and a guy was in the middle seat. And I usually have the blind down, and we were getting ready to land. And this dude had the nerve to reach over past me, pull up my blind, and then proceed to looking out the window. I was like, "What in the world?
Wow.
Where did this dude come from?" He wasn't from America. He was like from some other European country. So this
He
dude
didn't
was
know
like
the
bold.
rules. He didn't know the rules. When you paid for the window seat, you paid for that window.
I
to
paid
go
for
up and down.
I paid for that. I wiped it off. I controlled the window.
Yes.
This dude said, "I don't care. I'm going to lean right past you."
What is just another random thought? What's the perk of being in the middle? Obviously, you'd pick it so you could be next to me.
Yeah.
But like, why would anyone pick a middle seat?
I think no one really wants a middle seat. I think the reason why they get a middle seat is there is no other seats available.
Okay.
In my mind, or when people book certain flights, you have to, depending on the airline, you have to pay extra to pick your seat. And then the seat, if you don't, that means the seat is going to be assigned to you at the gate or when you get checked in. So it's like a Russian roulette. Whatever you get, you never know where it's going to land. But I don't think anyone purposely wants to pick a middle seat.
I get the aisle. Like, you want to go to the bathroom,
Yeah.
you want to stretch your legs, the window,
Yeah, you want to look out the window when you want,
You wanna
control
have
your
to-
window blinds.
have somewhere to lean. your
Yeah,
head
that's
on.
true.
I'm a head leaner.
Yeah. Yeah, I see you. And then you wake up like,
But
my neck.
it's better to lean than to do this on the plane when you go
Yeah.
the
Yeah. And that's even if you can rest your arms on there, because there's always like a battle. Who's going to get this part? Or then if you get in the seat first, then you can position yourself, but you're going to be stuck like that the whole time. Because as soon as you move, you're like, oh, let me grab something. Then the other person's arm there, like, gotcha. Then you got to meet your arm here.
But
it's like a back and forth chest.
I feel like the middle person should get both armrest. They're
Yeah,
in the middle.
because
Like, the
they're
window, you have
inconvenienced.
the side.
Yeah.
The aisle, you have, room to get up. Like, just give
That's
them
true.
give the middle person the arm.
But not everyone feels is that compassionate. Like I could see that. I'll put my arm down in the side for that person.
Yeah.
But it's already an uncomfortable position to be in that middle seat.
It's true.
Back on track.
Well, what we want to do is we're going to add a new session into our podcast at the end. It's called Love, Laughter, and Travel. So we're going to invite all of our listeners to let us know any travel stories about you traveling with a partner, a friend, a group that you want to share that
Comment
is
below.
funny, crazy, scary. And we promise that we're going to pick some and read them on future podcasts.
Ooh, that's going to be exciting. Give us all the tea.
So the bottom line is, make sure that if you are traveling with someone else, make sure they match your travel style.
Yeah.
Make sure that you
Okay.
vet them clearly before you go away with them.
Have a checklist.
Absolutely. And go to our page and we give lots of tips on making sure you have great travel experiences. Take care.
Bye-bye now.